E7 all carrying the same avatar. That actually looks pretty neat. Mugu not even taking an avatar at all. And let's see, come on, it helps if we actually load into the game, because it's kind of hard to spectate it if the game is not starting. That is one reason, to be fair, why I love E7. They have been the cheekiest team that I've seen in this game. So we have Bruni actually going towards a base C spot. And both teams focusing primarily on the A side. Bruni all the way on top of the hill here. Catching sight of Gabltech and Pixels in base B. If they get away with capping that though, they need to be a little bit more careful. But if they get away with capping it, that will make it difficult for Feast. But Pixels did lose quite a bit of HP there. And they're running off and getting back to safety. Base A will be kept. The E5s are all heading up the Citadel. And basically with everyone on the Citadel or near the Citadel, base C is unprotected. But they're kind of expecting Bruni to be there. And he has been spotted. And he has just fired. So Pixels will have the first hit, which he does. And he is running off. Gabltech not panning that, but they are not necessarily chasing because they are expecting him to. Oh, deletion. Also on the other side. But that was a Sheridan double tap, and that is very, very deadly. Now they're being shot in the rear by Sleeping Lion. But see, Axe has also been taken out. Feast has already lost 3 guns at this stage. E7 definitely bringing it. STB and T62A now versus each other. But there's so many guns on the Citadel here. They're actually pushing Sleeping Lion down. Cloudburst has been taken out. Maddox not in the best of positions here. Getting basically massacred by 3 guns. Now Maddox also haven't been taken out. Sleeping Lion being ignored. No, Pixel is turning around. Mugu on top, not being able to do much. Yeah, he definitely got wrecked. That explains his sudden disappearance. That was a missile derp. You shouldn't hit a corpse with a missile though, that is mean. RNG advantage, yes. And basically also, just that double tap on the Sheridan, that was quite epic to see. Sleeping Lion still alive, just don't ask how. He is trying to manage it. Frost almost gone. There he goes. And now we have Sleeping Lion still alive, just don't ask how. Where did that missile go? No way! Dude! This is why missiles should not be in the game. Come on! That is just utterly ridiculous. That's just mad that this likes this map. But we just... Wow, what happened this last game was just weird. I can't really cause it any other way. Oh my god. So let's see. What is he talking about? Oh my god. So now we have Feast splitting up a little bit, but primarily focusing on the C side this time. And all of E7 going towards the A side. They're not bothering with base B. And Bruni is going to go up on the Citadel here. I still need to practice that so I can get up that way, because that's actually very handy. And the STBs are there. Bruni has no support whatsoever, and that could be very, very dangerous. He is there to spot them. And the moment that he spots one, Ooh, that did not actually pan. He is out of there, but this means that the rest of this feast, if E7, sorry, is actually not being spotted. Cloudburst has to be careful though, where he is at. He does spot Miserable, who immediately takes a hit and falls off. Now Feast is capping base B. Where did that missile go? It absolutely went nowhere. But they kind of have to be careful though, because now Feast has a definite point advantage and a base advantage. So that's going to go up quite quickly, and E7 will have to make a move in order to take that advantage back. Gable Tag moving in. The 113 is moving in as well. Missiles flying and hitting. Harry arriving now as well. They kind of have to safeguard base B. But they have to be careful. The 113s, they don't have the armor to hold that much. Mugu going around the back. But they have... Ooh, big hit into the Gable Tag there. Pixel moving in to cap base B and steal it. If he manages to get away with it though, that would be quite a feat. But Maddox is moving in. He does take a hit, but so does Pixels. And they kind of have to make a move. We have Harry pushing at the back with the 113s. E7 is bleeding HP all over. But they are together, and Feast is a bit more spread out, but they're in overall better positions. And basically people are... That was a fire. 2 tanks disappearing at the same time. And they need to focus fire a lot better than this. They need to take out those one-shots. But it's Harry that gets taken out first, and now Feast has a 3-gun advantage. Which is very telling. A 4-gun advantage here. Yuri surviving a little bit longer than he should. But he's not going to survive this reload. There you go. And now it is 2 versus 5. But they're not looking too good, and they're not in the best of positions. We have Jack moving in for the Sherry. Cloudburst being left alive, left alone. And they will take out the Sherry, but Cloudburst is basically getting shot in the rear. And that's not going to go that well. Cloudburst does actually take out Miserable though. And now it is... Oof, that is a fire that you don't want at this stage. Jack not going to survive this. Cloudburst also very looking very unhealthy at this point. And there goes Jack. And now we only have a very unhealthy looking Cloudburst left. And there he goes. With a flying turret that lands right next to him. And if you are watching through, if you want to get season coins, you can only get season coins if you're from the Asia server. So you can stay out and hang out on YouTube as much as you want if you're not. Oh yes, happy Mother's Day to all it's appropriate for, because in most of Europe, I think, and most of the world, it's Mother's Day today. But with the whole lockdown everywhere and overall precautions, there's actually a giant big donut. You can't actually visit your mother anyway. At least I can't. So that's why I don't mind streaming here. So let's see what they're gonna do here. What the hell, Maddox? Feast focusing a bit on both sides. E7 completely ignoring base B, going all together. Only one, well no, most of them have been spotted now. And they are pushing in. And it's gonna be interesting to see how this will go, because they're pushing straight into Feast. Boone, Mugu, taking some hits there. And E7 is actually a little bit careful here. Though they are chasing after Mugu. And now the IS-4s are pushing in. Maddox pushing in with his VK, showing most of his flank to pretty much every side. This is not the best call that Maddox could have made. Especially not when Cloudburst is about to reload and finish him off. There you go. Now we have Mugu and the Sheridan arriving at the back. And this is something that I find that a lot of people make mistakes in. They are focusing the most heavy tank first, which in this case is the Mouse and of course the VK. And that is something that is very dangerous to do. Harry is not going to survive much longer here, but they have taken out the second tank now. And they want to take out Miserable. Harry is actually murdered to death by a hug. They are turning around, dishing it out to Frost. Bruni wanting to fire a missile, not actually penning that, which in this case is very important. Yuri getting that hit in is also very important because it takes out a gun even though he's losing his life as well. And it is 4 versus 4. And they kind of just need to decide who to shoot first because now they're shooting different targets and that's a very dangerous thing to do. Sleeping Lion does seem to be the preferred target though. And he does take another hit. We have Gable. Apparently it's Gabe Itch. So Gabe. That is taking a hit there. It is 3 versus 3. Bruni not looking too healthy here. But we have a Mouse that is now being left alone. And Gabe kind of has to hurry it up because he's trying to chase a Sheridan. And at that point he's putting his own team at a bit of a disadvantage here. Especially projecting. They kind of need to stick together and work together. Projecting is going to be hugged to death here. There you go. And there goes the Mouse. And they are taking base C now. Base B has been kept. Mugu gets away. Pixel's looking very, very healthy. Base A is probably going to be taken. They kind of need to just grab base B as well. Or, well, no, actually no. Face just stupid buildings. They just need to survive. They need to know that they're going to be at A. At least Pixel knows. So with Gabe going to base C, that is a good call. But now we have Pixel moving slowly towards base A. I'm going to try and show you what is happening here. But that is difficult. And now he can run off. And he does take a big hit there. But Pixel need to focus on the base, not the tanks here. Because the tanks will survive. And it's all about the bases at this stage. Mugu keeping Pixels spotted. And now E7 has all the bases. They need to survive. And they need to dominate all the bases. They need to be in a position to do so. Mugu turning around. Gabe potentially going to stream snipe the... Does that hit Bendo? He doesn't even try to. Base B now being taken. Mugu heading off towards base C. Gabe cutting them off. And this is something, if he manages to... Ooh, that does hit. But with 3 bases, it will be very difficult for Feast to win this. Especially with Gabe, they kind of need to survive more. But Pixels is all the way at the back. If Gabe does not survive this, he takes out the Sheridan. Now there's only Mugu. And Mugu will have a top job. He can't do this alone. With both of them, they had the option. And now Pixel is arriving. And he takes him out. What a game, guys! This was... Well, aside from the donut business, this was the best game I've seen on this map. It was so clever the way that Bruni and Mugu kept running around, and they could have potentially made it happen, if not for the fact that basically, well, E7 was basically guessing where they would turn up. They were in the best positions to dominate all 3 bases, despite being in such slower tanks. This was absolutely brilliant. Let's see. Oh god, I need to play Tekken again. And praise be to the donut. Let's see what's going to happen now with those IS4s. And just look at the fancy donut there. Feast. Mostly staying together now. Base B being taken by the Leos. Blind shot happening there. Not sure what he was firing at, what he expected anyone to be there yet. Oh, Bruni. Bruni not looking too healthy. Bruni is not going to survive this. There he goes. First tank out almost instantly. And now we have Gabe going after Frost. But he's going to be hit by Miserable as well, so he has to be a little bit more careful. But the rest of Feast is arriving. And they're leaving Maddox for what it is. They're pushing through, going to protect Gabe. Gabe is actually pushed away, which is actually not a good thing here, because he's going out of the support fire from his team. And actually blocking shots from his own team. So Gabe is pretty much sacrificing himself here. And again, they're focusing on the mouse first. This is something they should not do. There is no reason for them to do this. There goes Gabe. Jack is not that far behind. Frost going to be taken out as well. But not before Jack. Both teams have lost 2 guns. But Feast is in a tricky position here. And again, they are focusing on the heavily armed targets. Well, that is what you should just survive, basically. Let them live, take them out last. Cloudburst not looking too good either. Miserable now steadily being taken out, but Cloudburst is gone. And now Harry can potentially take... No, there goes the mouse. It is 4 versus 4. Projecting is on his own. Pulling back towards his team. Yuri. Angling. Basically now Feast has the upper hand. They have to focus fire. Sleeping Lion arriving behind. Oh, CX being absolutely brutally murdered here. And, oh god, I hate these buildings. I'm trying to show you all that is happening. They are leaving CX alive for too long. Projecting is gone. And there goes CX though. And 7 Pixels is not going to survive this either. It is 2 versus 2. None of the bases have been capped. And they kind of just need to focus and make sure that all the shots count. Harry is being the primary target here. Harry facing off against Sleeping Lion, trusting Yuri to take out Maddox. And it does. And now it's just Sleeping Lion that is left. Base B being contested. Yuri going straight on in. He does not have the issue that Harry does with the low HP. Harry just needs to be careful here. Because he's a one-shot now and he's going to be taken out. There you go. So now it is IS4 versus IS4. Let's see if this is a better angle. Yuri taking it. They have to be careful to make all the shots count at this stage. Too many corpses in the way. There you go, that's better. And basically they will both be shooting Primo at this stage. Aiming the gun at each other's gun can make people bounce. Oh, that bounce though, and now Sleeping Lion is at a definite disadvantage. What the hell? Ooh, that bounce though. And now Sleeping Lion is moving in. But there you go, Yuri takes it home. And the match is 4-7. And again, the 7 IS4 lineup works. Oh my god. 6.4k damage for Sleeping Lion though, that is nuts. Them after the game. After the stream, I should say. And let's see. I'm actually pretty excited about these matches. It is out of the box thinking and I like that. Yeah. So let's see. Feast, like I said, focusing on the on the B and C side, and we see that they're leaving 2 Leos more in the middle to see where the rest is going. E7 spotted as they go over. Harry going after the mouse. Base B being kept, but they're not actually focusing on that. I think they want the juicy Leo there. Gabe taking a cheeky shot into the mouse there. Oof, Frost not looking too healthy there. Basically they are... E7 is playing so aggressively. This is not really how I'm used to them, but I absolutely enjoy watching it, to be fair. Oof, Gabe being absolutely murdered just crossing over. There goes Gabe, but CX is also gone. And Pixels is not long behind, there you go. And there goes Frost. Both teams have lost 2 guns. Bruni now the preferred target. Oof. Yuri gone first. E7 is too spread out here. Not shooting the same target because they're not in the sight of the same target. Cloudburst still alive but barely. How? I've no idea how he missed that one. I think that was lag. But it's now 4 versus 5 and basically E7 was too aggressive here, but at the same time not aggressive enough. It's too spread out. Not shooting the same target. Again focusing on the mouse. Guys, come on. Leave the most armor targets to the last one, because that is actually going to help you, because you will pen more shots if you're shooting the not so armored tanks. And they're not shooting the same targets either. That is also going to be an issue. Projecting is going to be out of here. And now Jack is the last one alive. He can't get Bruni. He can't really get anyone. And even Bruni takes a cheeky shot into him. And the game is for Feast. Wow. I'm kind of curious, because this is basically E7 was performing so well until this very last game. Yes, they are. So let's see what's going to happen. What is Feast going to do this time around? They seem to be focusing more towards the base A side, whereas most of E7 is heading towards the base C side. Blind shots happening into the bush, but no one has been spotted yet aside from Mugu. And pretty much Feast is being spotted going over, and now Frost is taking some damage. And if this shot pans, that's going to be taking a chunk of health out of him. It does. Base B and C are both being taken. Gabe losing some HP though. He is not in the best of position, but it is a difficult base to cap. But if he manages it, that means that E7 has a definite advantage here in points and bases. And Cloudburst taking a hit there. Gabe has to get out of there. Cloudburst has to be more careful here. And Feast is basically in a down position aside from the mouse and the IS4 that are now pushing in. But it could be that if they're pushing in, it could be quite dangerous because they're pushing in alone and the rest of Feast is not there. And that could be very, very tricky. CX moving into base B here. Maddox losing a bit more HP. Base B being stolen, which in this case could be very tricky. Frost losing HP, decapping the base though. Cloudburst is not going to survive this one. And they will have to move in fast. They need to take out these tanks. Big hit into CX there. But again, E7 focusing on the most heavily armored tanks. I don't get it. Basically now the Leo is being caught. Oof, there goes CX. But overall, E7 is losing a ton of HP for this. There goes Yuri. And that's already cost them 2 guns here. They need to focus on the same targets. Again, the epic E7 that we saw the first few matches seems to be disappearing now. Frost still alive, but there he goes. There goes projecting. It is 4 versus 5. It is 4 versus 3. But Pixels is not looking too healthy and he gets caught. Jack reloading. They have the bases if Gabe stays alive, which in this case is not likely to happen. He kind of just needs to survive, but there's too many targets here. There goes Jack. And with so many guns in front of you, that's not gonna go well. Bruni arriving at the back. Mugu, it's being taken out, but we are at 840 points. There are 3 guns left and he's bleeding HP quite badly. And there we go, Bruni takes him out. And now we go to another tiebreaker for tonight. But this is the kind of thing I don't understand. They were doing so well. And these last 2 games, they more or less just threw it. Just being not coordinated, not... Oh. And it will be all about that focus fight. This is something that I know Feast has been training for such a long time. And they've... Basically, this is what puts them above almost every other clan in the Asia server. And why they've performed so well. Because that is something that they've been training for and that they've been working on. Rushing together, focus firing the same tank. And that's always why it's with Feast, it's easy to tell if they have a day off or not. An off day, I should say. Because then the focus fire would not be there. And we saw that during one of the ascents. Of course, for the ascents it wasn't that important. There goes a missile that goes into the ground. Pixels now needs to not be there. Oof, Mugu getting murdered for attempting to shoot Pixels. But as Pixels runs away, he does get shot in the bum once more. Gabe actually pushing in to cap that base. A very tricky position though, he has to be careful. I think he wants to basically draw them in. E7 spread out most of Feast in the desert. Gabe pretty much on his own. With some cover fire behind Mind, but still. And we see that Leos are going around. Projecting now. And Yuri ready to support Gabe. But they have to be careful. Base B is being left alone. We have the Leos at the back. Cloudburst here on the ridge. And now the Leos are going to be moving in, and I wonder how that will go. Oh, big hit into Mugu. And he gets away with it without being shot. Base C now being kept again as Feast pulls back. And this is very tricky because that will give them a definite advantage. Frost actually not penning that allows them to get that base. And that means that Gabe has now given E7 a base advantage. And he is losing HP for it. He needs to pull back. We have Yuri at the back to support him. But he has to be careful pulling back. And use that rock. Stay where he is. Use that advantage. They are stealing base C. But they are losing quite a bit of HP over it. Especially with the tanks behind there. They will eventually get it, but they're occupying some of the tanks, and now they have it. Pixel's losing quite a bit of HP, Maddox as well. The Sheridans are moving in. CX losing HP. But basically they kind of have to be careful. That was... What were you doing, Cloud? You lost so much HP, especially now you turned yourself into a one-shot there, just by ramming. But look at the HP difference. There is so much HP advantage for E7. And if they manage to take this, then E7 gets a very important point. Gabe is not looking too healthy. But both teams have lost 2 guns now, and there's about a 5k difference in HP in favor of E7. Frost taking a hit as he tries to drive up. We have the E5 at the back. Base B is being kept, and that will give E7 that advantage again. And basically they need to start shooting the same target. They need to make it work. Because Feast is dangerous in positions like this. They can do it. Frost. Basically Yuri sacrificing himself to get that shot into Frost. And that is very dangerous here. Jack still alive. Well, at least Frost still alive. By a low roll from Jack. Jack pushing in now. Taking out Frost. Base A is being stolen. Feast is definitely pushing in. Miserable, trying to keep them from getting points from base B. Feast now has 2. Oof. Feast has 2 bases right now. And E7 will have to make a move there. But there goes Miserable. And they are now going after Sleeping Lion, who does not have the time to get out of there. Especially when he pushes back. We are 960 points versus 555. As long as Feast stays alive, and they have no reason not to, they will win this game, especially with that kill shot. E7 takes home the point, and what a game! Oh my god. That was close though. Again, not when you look at it like this, where you see how many guns survive, but Feast is dangerous when it comes to things like that. They almost put it back towards them, but E7 basically got back into shape in this match with in comparison to the 2 previous matches. And they got the point. Brilliant games.